Hi, everybody. I'm Holly Claire with the Social Media Advisor, and I am bringing to you today a dear friend of mine. We call her the Sagan. Welcome, Phoenix.
Holly.
So it's so funny because Phoenix just hosted this amazing event, the Beyond Business Breakthrough Retreat. And while we were on this trip, it was a gorgeous vacation and business retreat. We were in Granby, Colorado, and we go to check in to the hotel, and the lady at the front counter is looking at the registration list, and she goes, "Where's the Sagan?" And she just insisted the Sagan wasn't standing in front of her, and it was Phoenix. And so that was the deal. All the rest of the weekend was, "Where's Sagan?"
That's Sagan.
It was awesome. So welcome to my show, Phoenix. It is such an honor to have you. I value your friendship. You're totally hilarious. I know we're going to have a blast today. And the idea that you get to do what people dream of in their bucket list every single day for a living is just awesome to me. So I'm totally excited to talk to you about that. And I would just like to know, do you remember how we met?
Absolutely, I remember how we met. First of all, thank you, Holly, for having me on. I know I love you too. This is such an honor to be able to be on here with you today. So thank you so much. And I do remember how we met. We met at a workshop that you did for the Highlands Ranch Polka Dot Powerhouse. And it was awesome because you're #BeAwesome. And and you did an incredible job, and I figured you were somebody that I really needed to get to know, and lo and behold, we are like soul sisters, so it's super fabulous.
That is totally true. You know what? The one thing I remember most about that presentation day was there's certain people in a room when you're doing a presentation who just radiate positivity, and your smile was contagious. And so every time there were 3 or 4 people that you look at, right, when you do a presentation, and you were definitely one of them, because every time I looked in your direction, you're like, and it was just so good, because I was like, oh my gosh, you're totally smiling, you're making my day, I just want to stare at you. And it's just one of those things. I get nervous every time I speak, right? And so palms sweaty and everything else, it's like, there's a positive person. I just want to stay with you, So that was really, really cool. And it's been a treasure ever since that day to get to experience life with you professionally and personally. It's been amazing. One thing I don't know about you, though, is what would be your spirit animal and why, if you were to choose one?
An elephant. Elephant is my spirit animal, and there is a couple of reasons why. First of all, they travel together. They're family oriented. They take care of each other like friends and family do. They travel great distances often, and they have really long memories. They remember a lot of stuff, but they're super gentle creatures, and they really just have super big hearts.
Oh, I love that so much. It's so you. So let's talk about you. Tell the world what it is that you do, and that you wake up every single day. You get to try on something new a lot of times, I would imagine. But what does that look like? What do you do, and who do you serve?
Well, I am a travel agent, and yes, we do still exist. I own a full service travel agency, and it is really my heart and soul's passion. For a long time, I was doing things that really weren't aligned with who I am. And so now that I've stepped into my purpose and been able to help people do what I love, because I love it, it kind of radiates out. It has been super amazing. I get to help people do things they didn't know they could do. Travel doesn't have to be expensive, or to be able to explore the world, to discover new places, to take that adventure, to rejuvenate, to reset. Americans don't allow themselves to travel very much. But there's so much to be said for stepping out of your comfort zone, for walking that path that you've never walked and seeing a new place and taking a moment to yourself to just take life in, there's clarity that comes with being in a new place and giving yourself that time. And I get to support people and help people be able to do that for themselves and also for their businesses.
That's amazing. That is amazing, because, you know, there's a thing about work-life balance and getting away from the grind, if you will. I mean, even business retreats, they can be engineered in such a way where you're really just experiencing being in a moment and what the location has to offer and the history behind that. One of the coolest things that I learned about you recently was some of the trips that you love the most are those themed trips, or, you know, destination themes. And you mentioned Vikings.
Yes. Do you?
Yeah, I want more.
Okay, so, my family were Vikings on my mom's side generations back. So there's this attachment to, I think really for me, travel is in my genes, but to water and things like that. But there are all kinds of trips that you can take. And Viking is a supplier, Viking ships, but also being able to see where the Vikings were and go to Iceland and go to Greenland and go to Norway and kind of follow the track in which they did and be able to see some incredible places. So there's all kinds of trips like that. Or a friend who is a chef, I'm putting together a private food experience tour of Italy. She's like, you should go to Parma, where the Parmesan cheese originated, and go to Modena, where the balsamic vinegar comes from. You know, so there's so many things that I can tailor to individual experiences, and I love to be able to do that, to make those custom trips specific to what people want to do and see.
I love that so much, because, I mean, the options are just endless. And when you think about vacations, there's so many cookie cutter things, right? So the typical Disney trip or the typical cruise. And I mean, I guess no cruise is really typical, but it could be just kind of put in a box. And there's those vacations that are absolutely awesome. But then to be able to think outside of that box and come up with a solution that is really the heart and soul and passion of the person that you're engaging with, that is so powerful.
It really is. And I am just so blessed and honored to be able to serve my friends and family this way, to be able to help them, you know, experience those things.
Well, I am deeply honored, because I know that I've been the girl who goes on to, the big travel sites and online and tries to figure out coordination, gets frustrated with the rates, price comparisons, when's the best time to travel, when's the best time to buy tickets. And these are the tours that are offered, and these are the only, I mean, it almost seems like these are the only things in the world available, in which case I could have just called Phoenix. And I could have said, hey, so I'm going to this place. I want to be a local, and I want to experience it as locals would. And, you know, these are a couple things that I'm thinking that we might do. What do you have? Mm-hmm. And for you to be able to take all of your knowledge, all of your experience, all of your people that you work with, all the vendors, opportunities, the local connections that you have in all these different places, and say, you know what, I can give you a local experience. And you don't have to be on the tour bus with everybody else. I think that's pretty awesome.
That is so true. You don't have to be. Not everything is cookie cutter. And a lot of times people look at travel and they're like, well, this part of the trip looks great, but I want to do these other things, or I want to stay longer, or I want to do, you know, this kind of stuff. And I really take the stress out of figuring out those details. And I put together what it is that you want to do and how you want to do it. So, yeah.
I love it. So I want to shift gears just a little bit. You've been in business for how many years now?
I just started my own company in November. So yeah, it's been mine since November. I've been in the travel industry for a couple of years, but I've been traveling and booking travel since I was young.
Yeah, and that is just so impactful, because your experience, like I said, your experience and your relationships are what really if there are travel agents out there in the world, that would make you stand out different. And I really feel that, the second I met you and I learned about what you did and I got to experience what you did firsthand, game changer. I will never, ever, ever book a trip without my Phoenix, without the Sagen. So since November, I'm sure you've encountered some struggles in business. What's one thing that you can share that you've overcome?
Well, and it's still a work in progress because it has to do with perception. Most people don't know that it doesn't cost them anything to work with a travel agent in most cases. So, and that changed. It wasn't always that way. Years ago, back in the 80s and beyond, you had to pay a travel agent a commission on top of the travel on top of the cost of the travel they were putting together for you. But since the 1990s, when the internet was really taking off and a lot of websites like Expedia and all those types of things were coming to the forefront, it really changed on how travel agents get paid. So the number one struggle that I come to is people say, well, why would I pay you to help me do what I can do on my own online? And really it's just letting people know that I can help take away the stress of booking your travel and make it tailored to your experience and for your family within the budget that you want. And it doesn't cost you anything. So
wow,
that's a big thing.
So then, okay, just side note on that. So how do you make money then? Do you get paid a commission from the locations, from the airlines? How does that work?
So the vendors, a vendor or a supplier would be the cruise lines, the resorts, the hotels. Airlines don't really pay anymore. If it's a part of a package that's put together by a supplier, then that's one thing. They're not adding an additional charge that they charge the customer and then pay us. It's something that they pay us. It's actually advertising dollars that are moved around. And that's how travel agents get paid, is on the back end by the suppliers and the vendors for us as travel agents to bring the clients to them.
That's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that for me is so big that, I did always think that there was a fee, and I wondered for a long time, if there wasn't, then how would you get paid? I mean, because this is what you do. So that's really powerful. And I think that message kind of needs to be shared in a variety of different places because, to actually have a person that I'm interacting with versus relying on the interwebs of the Google and the resources that are out there. Game changer. Oh my goodness. I just want to share you with everyone. So we're going to share this everywhere.
Yeah.
And if you guys wait until the end of this video, there will be comments down below of how to get in touch with Phoenix, where to find her online, where you can connect with her on social media. So keep a lookout for that because we're definitely going to share that in a little bit. So what was the number one driving force to do what you do in business?
Initially, it was somewhat selfish, and I think all of us that are doing what we love kind of lead with what is in our heart first. I love to travel, and so my driving force was, I love it. I want to help other people do it for a multitude of reasons. One, we don't do it enough, and travel doesn't necessarily mean far. The dictionary definition of travel is to go. It just means you have to go somewhere. And sometimes people don't even experience their own backyard. So when I'm talking travel, I'm not necessarily meaning international specifically, but just to be able to get outside of your own zip code and to be able to take time. So educating people on what travel can do for them, for their business. And because I love it, that has been my driving force.
Oh, you get to do what you love every single day. Isn't that amazing?
I do. Even the mundane tasks, the stuff that we have to do in business that we all like, databasing. Come on. That's just one of those things that's really a hard thing to learn.
What? You don't like databasing?
But let me tell you, when you are doing what you love, even those mundane tasks are okay, where it's like, I can get through this. Or like I was jamming out the other day while I was databasing. I'm like, yep, databasing, and I love it because I'm doing what I love. I was laughing at myself.
I'm sure you were dancing because pretty much you dance all the time. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're around Phoenix and you're bored, then you're doing it wrong. Just saying. So what do you feel are your top 3 services?
Top 3 services. Number 1, building custom trips based on what it is that you want to see and do. From a couple of friends that want to go, an entire family. Another thing is I specialize in groups. So if you've always wanted to do a work retreat or add a retreat element to your current business model, then that's what I do. I help you add that element so that you can take your clients or take your workshop on the road. But groups as well as church groups or family reunions, things like that. And then philanthropic and volunteerism is something I'm really passionate about. Trips where you give back as well as go on vacation. I just was in Cuba and the Dominican Republic, and I got to work with the Rapapel, which is recycled paper, and help them make paper for their community. And then they make new paper, and we got to make jewelry and stationery and different things with it. But that's what they sell. That's how they support their family. It was a couple of hours. It was hugely impactful for me as an individual, but then the impact it had on the community for like 4 hours out of my entire week trip, it was just an incredible experience. So I like to add those types of things and work with people that like to do those things.
Oh, I love that. You're totally speaking my heart message right now. It just so beautiful. I wish I was there.
Well, you can come. We can put together.
We need to do a trip. Yes. And I want my family to come with so they can experience it as well, for sure. So how can you benefit businesses this year by offering your services?
Well, a couple of things. One, again, if you have a business where you want to do a workshop, a retreat, get a group of people together to go somewhere to experience something, that is one way that I can help you grow your business, to help you add that retreat or group element, or an incentive trip. It doesn't necessarily have to be a workshop at a destination. Sometimes it's just rewarding the people that you work with and doing an incentive trip. That's one way. The other way is personally for you, you need to be able to rejuvenate, reset, relax. My husband is an engineer, and he said it best to me because the way that he thinks, he's like, when I have a problem and I am sitting there and I'm working, I just feel like I'm hitting a wall. I always think of my wife, and I get up and I go take a walk around the block, and all of a sudden, in the quietness or the breeze of the trees that I'm listening to or whatever it is, in that calmness and clarity, I get what I need. All of a sudden, the answer comes. And that's true with a lot of things. So helping you be able to do that for yourself, for your business, if you feel like you're stuck, you're hitting a wall, you're in a rut, maybe it's time to get out of your zip code and go on a trip. That's what I did today.
I'm totally resonating in all of your words. I'm like picturing, as you're speaking, I'm like picturing the wind and the trees and just the silence and being present in that. I'm in love with what you do, and I just want to experience that all the time. You know, I being online and interacting online constantly, as we all are. You know, the internet is just overflowing with content and information, and we're constantly getting fed stuff. To be able to get away from that screen and go experience some life, isn't that the reason why we do what we do? Because we need to be there to serve others, and how else can we do that unless we're serving ourselves as well as and filling our cup? So what are some things that you've got in place, or some goals that you have? What are some ways that you're able to, or you're trying to reach some of your personal goals for the year or professional goals for the year?
Well, there's a couple of things that I did initially that I think are really important. The first thing I did is I wrote my goals down, and then I gave them visuals. So a vision board. So I put pictures with it, and then I believed it could happen. There is this, you have to believe in yourself before others will believe in you. And if you don't believe it, whether you believe it or not believe it, both are true. So you might as well believe it, that whatever it is that you want can happen for you, for your business. And so those were the top 3 things that I did. I wrote it down, I gave it visuals, and I believed that I could have a really successful travel business and love what I do. I am looking, so one of my goals is to work with groups, businesses, solopreneurs, and families that want to do annual trips that I can work with every year and really build those relationships and help them experience and discover the world in multiple destinations. But then something that I did just this last week that I'm super excited about that I wanted to share is I have always wanted to do a Spanish immersion. I'm pretty good with languages. I got to be immersed in it for it to really take hold. I've talked about it forever. And I end up doing so much business in Mexico, Central America, South America, Spain, in countries that speak Spanish. And not all my clients speak Spanish, although some do, but a lot of the suppliers and vendors that I work with do. So to be able to really support my clients on the back end better, I enrolled in a Spanish immersion course, and I will be spending 6 to 8 weeks in South America next year, starting in Argentina, then to Chile, and then to Peru. And then my husband is going to come down and meet me for a week or 2, and we're going to be experiencing Machu Picchu for Christmas next year.
That is so awesome. Holy smokes. That's amazing. Okay. So first of all, if you don't journal in some sort of way, so like video journals, written journals, or, some way to just capture everything, I'm going to be super sad, but it's your trip, but I'm like going to be living vicariously through you until I can be able to do that trip, because I will do that trip. Yeah, that's.
Well, I've started video live, the Facebook Live, and I'm working on making that a regular thing so that I can bring you all along with me.
And I saw your very first Facebook Live, and I was super proud of you. First and foremost, for getting out there and doing it. Second of all, you looked awesome. Third, you provided 3 amazing tips, and I just want to share that with everyone here. If you go to mytravelforever.com, you'll find the Facebook page for Phoenix, and on there is the live video, which was hosted on the 24th of July. So you go to that date, you scroll down to that live video and watch those tips, because if you're planning on doing any international travel whatsoever and you need a passport, or you think you're set on your passport, she's got 3 amazing tips that she provided that I had no idea about. So definitely check that out. And she's like she said, she's going to have lots of live videos coming up as well. And I love that. So I want to know, audience, what is your next trip idea?
Me?
What is it? No, I'm asking the audience. What's your next trip idea? Phoenix actually has a really great resource on her website. If you go to mytravelforever.com, on the main page, you just scroll down a little bit. There's a couple of options on the best ways to get in contact with her. Do you want to talk about that, Phoenix?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a really simple calendar on my website that you can go to. And whether you want to talk about family travel, whether you want to do a group trip, I have a group inquiry form, fill it out, schedule a time. It's a 30-minute free consultation to talk to me. Let's figure it out and make it happen for you.
We've got a couple of people who commented live. Christine wants to go on an African safari, and Nikki wants to go to Japan. So definitely fill out that form, ladies, because she's going to be able to provide you with everything you need and make it custom to you. I just love you so much, Phoenix. I appreciate you for taking the time with me today, and it's such a treasure to be able to share you with the world. And seriously, you guys, if you want to be awesome in life and really experience some work-life balance, make things easier for yourself, engage with Phoenix. It costs you nothing. And her wealth of experience is by far the most professional and most valued and most treasured, because of the fact that she's got so many resources that she's already built relationships with. So if you are traveling anywhere, consider calling Phoenix. My Travel Forever. I will be sharing all of her contact information in the links below and the ways that you can get in contact with her about your next business trip, family trip, reunion, or professional retreat. Thank you, Phoenix. I just appreciate you so much. And I just love you.
I love you too. This has been amazing. You're awesome.
Yay. Thank you for joining me. Thanks, everybody online, for joining as well. Have a great day, and we'll chat at you soon. Let's be awesome.
Bye.
Bye.